Yeah, first of all, thank you for invitation, and this is my first time in Taipei. My name is Yuri Suzuki. I'm sound artist and designer based in London. So, I'm just start this lecture from now then. So, to categorize myself, I'm an artist and designer and musician. And also, recent update is I start to be a partner at a kind of very global design consultancy firm called Pentagram. And in this lecture, I just want to share what kind of journey I have until now. And my first kind of job was like assistant for this guy called Maywa Denki. So I was in the beginning was more assistant and became a performance member. So I did quite a lot for this group. So this is one of the performance that. So after working for Maywa Denki, I kind of starting my own practice. And my first career was DJ. So I moved to Berlin in 2003, and I want to establish as professional DJ and release a couple of records. And however, I'm not very successful DJ, so I decided to study design after that. And then I studied at Royal College of Art in London, like more about design and interaction. And after graduation, I worked on multiple different projects, and such as design for musical instruments for artists, or like making kind of kinetic mechanical musical instruments, and also making like toys. Right? And always my fascination is sound and music. So that's the main material always I use. And then something I'm interested in is kind of audible communication, how we can communicate through sound. And I'm going to introduce a couple of projects to really focus on communication through audio. I've got quite interesting commission from museum in Atlanta in US. It's called High Museum Art. And Atlanta is quite upcoming city, and so many new industries moving to that city. However, issue is like a new industry coming in, new people coming in, and the people already in the Atlanta doesn't really engaged enough. And then what I'm thinking is creating a series of acoustic sculptures, which is accidentally communicate with other people. And this will result. So basically, this acoustic sculpture is actually you can talk into like one of the horn, and it's unexpectedly delivering your voice. And if you can see here, and some people talking to left side, coming to right side, so always you can have a conversation starting with someone you don't know. And which is designed for all different ages, like because of height it's different, so many people, even children can access. So it was quite successful result because people actually quite enjoying like sound journey and also starting communication through this sculpture. And then people is like never be shy in front of this sculpture. And then another project I'm gonna introduce called OTOTO. So OTOTO is sort of musical DIY platform, and which is you can connect any conductive object into the keys, and you can create your own musical instrument. So it does have a keyboard and has got different sound. And if you connect with conductive object, so basically you can trigger sound from these conductive objects. So this is really simple interaction. And now it is connected to the couple vegetables and fruits in here. And if you touch, like it makes. And then, so it is really easy to use. And we did quite a lot of workshop in the university. And for example, this student doesn't have any knowledge for electronics. And then, for example, this group created like a balloon musical instruments. And then this kind of prototype you can make immediately. So that was quite successful. And making mechanical sequencer. And also this group creating musical bike. And then this project was quite successful and spread up into public quite a lot. And we actually played quite famous British children TV program. That was quite famous children TV program. Quite nice to play, this DIY instrument in there. And then, as I'm working for a company called Pentagram, Pentagram does quite a lot of branding identity in the visual level, like such as MasterCard or Windows. Now I'm gonna talk about a bit more like sound design. So basically, like so many people consider what is sound design. It could be like a special sound effect for film, but my definition for sound design, how we can recreating like soundscape. So one day I found this video on YouTube. So, which is like positioned as quite an annoying alarm clock in the world. But if you can consider alarm clock is beginning of your day, so what kind of sound do you want to wake up? And also interesting part is how we can customize your own like sound. One designer called Richard Sapper who created quite beautiful kettle. And basically, this kettle has got two whistles. When water boils, making really beautiful harmony to telling water is boiled, and instead of a quite annoying sound. And I was inspired from this project and created this project called Musical Kettle. So this is a musical kettle, and when water boils, like actually this kettle playing your favorite music and notify water is boiled. It doesn't really work well, but it's kind of improving. And also I'm going to talk about between sound and noise. This is really interesting printer came from like 70s called IBM 1403 printer. And when printing something making quite a lot of noise. So basically that's like some like a programmer like make it order for printing process and making music. And I found a quite beautiful sound design from Japan. It's called Melody Road. So basically, like car sound is like noise. However, this road have got texture in the road, so when car is like passing by, vibration making sound. So if you can imagine, noise has got all the people actually treat as music. So if like an order in the process of the noise, yes. Actually people treat as like a sound or music. It's not treated as noise anymore. And then another like bad sound design I found in London. And this is quite relatively quite new train line made in 2004. So each station has got this notify sound. And this is actually 2,200 hertz, which is really like vibrating your eardrum, and which shouldn't be used for public transport. Also, 2,200 hertz is like a sound of the babies cry out. And I found a really beautiful sound design from Switzerland. And basically, Switzerland has each carriage of the train has got the volume control. So I think this is really nice sound design. And also like one project I've done, it's called white noise trumpet. And the white noise is this kind of sound. Yeah, again, some problem, but you can hear kind of. So this is called white noise. And which has got quite interesting properties, such as if you're using noise cancelling headphone, which is actually using white noise to deleting sound. At the same time, you can actually find quite interesting property in this white noise.
There she is, she's crying. But then, there she is. Then,
So if you look on the YouTube, you can find a lot of videos. Many parents try to create a white noise and calm down babies. And the reason why babies calming down is actually white noise quite similar sound as the inside of the mother's body. And I also created this project called white noise trumpet. So when you blew it into this trumpet, actually creating white noise and the calm down baby. Also, for the sound design, we have to think about what kind of psychological effect. And this is quite an interesting story for a specific music called Gloomy Sunday. And it can be not true, but in urban legend, it could be. But this music causing 12 people's suicide. And caused by many reasons. It could be like a melody, and it's quite sad music as well. So this is the music. Yeah, if you're interested in, you can listen on you can buy MP3 as well. And then, as I'm working for a company called Pentagram, Pentagram does quite a lot of branding identity in the visual level, such as MasterCard or Windows, so which is designed by all Pentagram. My mission in the company is try to creating sound identity for each companies. I have quite an interesting example for my research. So Nokia is one of the most famous mobile phone manufacturer, and then almost like more than 30 years of development of the technology and design. However, they doesn't change much for sound content And then this sound is actually 30 years development of the musical tone. So once company decided one sound identity, they tend to not change for a long time. However, human brain doesn't like repetition, especially sound, because human brain is more sensitive about sound rather than visuals. And the people now treat this music as something provocative, annoying sound. However, this music phrase came from quite beautiful guitar classical music. However, if you're listening again and again, this beautiful music, people treat as quite annoying music. Some good example came from Microsoft. They do update startup sound each time they have major update for operation system. And then this is Windows 95. They commissioned renowned artists and making very beautiful sound. This sound is designed by Brian Eno. I'm not sure that's true or not, but I heard that they also commissioned to Mr. Ryuichi Sakamoto. I think some companies treating quite careful about sound design. This black line explains length of the song, and that's actually you can compose music in same time drawing. And then I just kind of compiled my thought about how domestic environment sound should be, and made an exhibition called Furniture Music. So basically, a series of objects how we can redesign soundscape in your house. For example, musical kettle, also different household equipment.
Sound has a strong effect on the people. It can give us comfort and a lot of other positive effects. Meanwhile, if it is designed battery, it can also give us discomfort and distract us from enjoying life. The exhibition title Furniture Music comes from set of music by Eric Satie. It is original ambient music. I have always inspired by his compositions as well as Brian Eno's work. For this exhibition and in my work, I want to have closer attention to the sound which is surrounding us and offer subtle improvements through my design.
So basically, this is a series of objects representing what soundscape should be in domestic environment. And this is basically African rain stick simulating a wave movement. African rain stick is instruments.
On the table with the acoustic chamber.
So this table increasing noise on the table, and which is actually more nice to have a conversation with subtle noises. And this is singing washing machine, and which is normally washing machine is quite noisy. But if you're making an order in the washing process, you can actually listening as music.
When water is boiled, this kettle tells you with your favorite music.
So this is same words. So this mobile phone has got music box. When a phone is ringing, you can hear the really quiet and nice sound. So this is an exhibition I did last year. And also I'm gonna talk from here connection between physicality and sound. One project I'm gonna introduce called Music for Dyslexic. So basically I'm dyslexic. And then I used to fascination to, I'm still fascinating to play musical instruments. And I used to play instruments called trombone. My biggest difficulty for learning musical instruments, reading musical score. So how I learn for trombone is actually trombone is quite physical musical instrument, and it depends on the position of the arm representing specific notes. Then like how I learn music is almost like a memorized like form and quite gymnastics way to learning music. And then after that, I was dreaming to creating musical instruments or like creating musical notation even dyslexic people could understand. I found a really beautiful musical notation designed by Toru Takemitsu. He's a quite famous film composer, and he used to collaborate quite a lot with graphic designers and try to express like music from shape and composition. And then my method to creating this project is try to see like how people imagining sound from colors. And the darker color is like lower sound, and the brighter color is higher pitch sound. And then music sound has got the distance between sound and sound, also duration time for each note. That's a basic component to creating music. And this is my method. So this black line explains length of the song. And if you interact with color, and this device reading color information into the sound, and that's actually you can compose music in same time drawing. And it was quite popular for workshop content for children. And we did develop quite a lot after that. I've got commission from museum in Luxembourg, creating the installation. So basically, in this installation, people collaborate with drawing together and making music. So basically this was kind of installation, but we are planning to produce as a toy now. So depending on how many people coming on the site, sound and also movement of the pendulum change. So some people stay for like more than like 1 hour sometimes. And then I'm gonna talk about more about the collaborative project with musicians. Where I am, he's quite renowned artist. He's part of the group called Black Eyed Peas. And he came up quite amazing concept about how future music industry are going to be changed. And came up idea to creating some series of musical robots. So this is the result. So idea of this project is each instrument representing like a musician, and it's mechanically play like a drum and a piano and a guitar, and we recording sound from real musicians like playing data. Basically play like a robot is basically play back exactly the same behavior as musician. So this is just overview of the project. And this piano is played by Sergio Mendes. And this data is just repeatedly like the same, play exactly the same. So this is one of the project. And another project I was working is called making like a music video with a kind of kinetic robots. This is actually now a company called like based in Taiwan called Whatever. It used to be a company called Party. So director came to me to creating series of robots actually telling a story about music. So process is kind of designing robots, and we have to make physical robots like based on the sketch. And then we did quite a lot of 3D simulation. And then it's really like a challenge, it's kind of physical building. And this project we created 13 different small robots. and pressing on desk and creating, shooting like this object and making music video. So this is more about kind of consultancy project and collaboration with musicians or companies. And also recently working quite a lot of projects based on AI. I never expected myself interested in this kind of AI technology before. However, I feel like AI could be quite amazing tools for music. So one project called Sonic Pendulum that was created for a car company called Audi. So they came to me to create an installation telling a story of what next generation car should be. And the Milano Furniture Fair is quite busy and so much company trying to have impact for the exhibition. However, we want to targeting project is more quiet and people to have relax in the space. And the idea for this project is basically this pendulum, which is actually made of speaker. And it depends on how many people coming to this site, behavior of the music, also pattern of the movement going to be changed. And then that affect to people to have more relaxing like sound. So something we want to create is really about a place for collaborating between human, also AI. So depending on how many people coming on the site, sound and also movement of the pendulum change. So some people stay for more than 1 hour sometimes. And AI is actually quite great to creating ambient music. It's constantly changing, no repetition. Also, some great part for this project is depend on how human being can influence to the AI. So basically, he's amazing AI consultancy based in Japan. And it depends on how many people on site, it's keep counting and the pattern gonna be gradually changing. So basically, it's a whole process for this project. Music never repetitive, and they're always creating a new kind of music. So this is one. And then another project called Digital Electronium. And one quite interesting exhibition happening in London at the moment called More Than Human exhibition. So this exhibition is about how a creative field using AI and making installation design. So this project is part of that. So I was inspired quite a lot from this musician called Raymond Scott. He's a really successful musician in the 30s and 40s. So he's quite famous for music like Warner Brothers, Hanna-Barbera cartoon. At the same time, he quite inventive for the music, and he created his own electronic musical instruments. And he created this musical instrument called Electronium. So he tried to create a musical instrument which is actually machine creating a melody. However, he couldn't finish this musical instruments before he died. Because a complication for this project is self-generating musical part. So my idea is using AI platform to reimagine these musical instruments. And the first process is reading their hidden documents, because he was quite secretive about his invention. But his family and the institution, also musician Mark Mazazba, he allowed me to read through this document and created recreation of the Electronium. Personally, I want to make original as possible. However, because of the limitation of the budget, we had to make more about screen-based instrument. But behavior of the musical instrument and sound of the instruments quite similar to original idea. I think AI itself definitely to help people to understand or play musical instruments more fluently. But again, I think probably final decision and how you play, find out beautiful melodies really depend on your decision. So this is the kind of screen. So if you're composing kind of clicking some part is representing rhythm and melody, but always AI part is interrupting and developing melody based on what you program. So this he tried to imagine creating perfect platform to collaborate between human and machine. So that's what kind of discovered through the reading his document. So this is kind of final like looking, and we composed a couple of music based on the algorithm. So this is sound coming from like electronium. Which is actually you purely like making very basic melody, and the AI is actually developing for you to like making progression of it. So now it's this project exhibiting at the Barbican Center in London. So also this effect is changed by AI as well. And then finally, I'm gonna talk about one project called Acid Brexit. Like UK has got huge issue at the moment called Brexit. So I'm living in the UK for 14 years. I was really resistant to like UK leave from EU, and I think it's going to be quite bad for many reasons. Like it can be economy and also kind of liberty, and also freedom from the many reasons like this Brexit doesn't work out. However, we unfortunately has got a very conservative, horrible government. They're really running into the suicide of the one nation. But then I came up like acid house music is really popular in the 90s, and which is like really dance music for the young culture. And that music genre creating a really huge movement called Second Summer of Love. So which is actually a place for like a young generation to express themselves. However, many conservative newspapers kind of bashing this movement. And then like always, I think this time like quite similar to like in the 90s, because economy-wise and conservative government really screwing country. And then in the 90s, like a producer of the acid house music, they quite have political opinions, like such as artists like Psychic TV, KRF, Underground Resistance. Like my ideas can try to creating music which to protest against to some bad change. And it's lead project called Acid Brexit. So basically like this not sophisticated dance music. However, that's enough to express anger of the youth. So basically I created like record like that, and also you can listen music and download for free online. And this record is quite cheap price as well, so anyone can use for party. But sound is really aggressive, so I can play a bit for the music.
The 350 million
maybe like this one.
Strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
Strong leadership.
My ass.
The strong and stable.
My ass.
Strong.
My ass.
And stable government.
My ass.
Strong and stable leadership. Strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
Strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
Strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
The strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
Strong and stable leadership.
My ass.
And then this as well.
Which we will no longer send to the EU. Can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim. That was one of the mistakes I think that the Leave campaign made.
Hold on a moment, that was one of your adverts.
Well, it wasn't one of my adverts, I can assure
Well,
you.
that was one of the Leave campaign's
It was,
adverts.
it was,
But
it
that
was,
money was
and
going to go to the
And I
NHS.
think they made a mistake.
That's why people...
All mistakes, 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 mistake, 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 mistakes, all 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 mistakes.
So like this was kind of like designed like end of last year, and I think couple like DJ played this song in the club and so on, kind of reminding for what we are going for. And as you can see in the Second Summer of Love movement, I think music and sound has got quite strong power. and it could be against to something wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I think each change for my practice is quite unusual anyway, because in the beginning I was a huge fan of the Maywa Denki. In the beginning, I loved them, and it was such an honor. They asked me to join Maywa Denki in the beginning. Also, teenage engineering, same, because I didn't know in the beginning for the company, but my friend sent me link first, and these guys looks like your work. And then I was in Sweden that time, and for the artist in residence project. And then I just remember teenage engineering based in Sweden. I just emailed them that time. And then they immediately emailed back, and do you want to come to company? And that was quite short, just 1 hour later I was in there. CEO of the company, he's an amazing person called Jasper Kotov. And he asked me, do you want to join company? Yeah, after 1 hour later, then I decided to join company. That was incredible opportunity to working for him, because I would say he's one of the best designer in the world. And also Maywa Denki, same, he's one of the best creator in the world as well. Also, when I was Disney research, in the beginning I'm such a big fan of Disney. And my boss called, now he's doing amazing project in Google, and it was really amazing to working with him as well. So always I have quite lucky to find someone quite an incredible designer, and working with them, and became assistant sometimes, and learning quite a lot. So each time it's such an amazing opportunity. And now I'm in Pentagram, and then other partners such as Paula Scher, Michael Beirut, Daniel Weil, everyone's kind of incredible designer. So it's quite lucky to have people surrounding me, such amazing people. So each time is such an amazing experience. So it's quite difficult to say which time is the best stage. But always, it is absolutely amazing time to working with them, working for them, and learning a lot. So Maywa Denki, I was there. It's quite a lot of project assistant. So it's hard to say which project I did, but I remember when I was there, we did quite a lot, mechanical guitar, also mechanical xylophone, and also rebuilding quite a lot of old Maywa Denki instruments. So it's quite a lot I did, and also I did a lot of recording engineering for their CD and albums. Yeah, I didn't know about the analog 2.0 movement, but I think for me it's most important part of combination with physicality is always quite important, because I think human beings really need to have missing physicality. That's the issue for past couple of decades, I think. Yeah, I think I'm really into my dad's record collection when I was a child, and in fact, really I was inspired. Really beginning was really Ryuichi Sakamoto music, and Yellow Magic Orchestra was some of my first favorite music, and then I think more about I became fascination for electronic sound, because I was born in Tokyo, and it is really artificial environment. And then, yeah, I think more and more interested in kind of music which kind of created by machines in a way, like synthesizer. That's really my biggest fascination, still since I was a child until now. Yeah, and then now I have got kind of enough money to buy expensive synthesizers, and I just creating electric noise from my synthesizer. That's kind of favorite music too. So. I think I'm not really AI specialist or anything, but just imagining some part now. I think AI itself defined to help people to understand or play musical instruments more fluently. But again, I think probably final decision and how you play, find out beautiful melodies really depend on your decision rather than computer or artificial intelligence deciding it. It might be true in the future as a human role for music making could be just more about the editing and selection rather than composing maybe. I think that's all about my presentation. Thank you.